So welcome to this special edition of Winner the Mailman. Obviously, I'm Winner. This is Mailman. In this edition, we have United States Military All-Star Baseball Commander Tank Stone with us in honor of the July 2nd Military All-Stars versus Pioneers, and to honor all of the military personnel fallen or living for the July 4th, which will be on Monday. So how are you doing, Tank?
How you doing,
Doing
Tank?
fine. Thank you for having me. Pleased to meet you, Dave.
Pleased to meet you as well.
Brianna, thank you so much.
Not a problem. So because I had a 40-minute conversation with Tank, I'm going to let you go first.
Well, Tank, let's first of all, thank you so much for your service and thank you for what you're doing for our military heroes and the fallen. And I'm a huge patriot. I'm a huge, I grew up in a military family. My father was in Vietnam. So I've been around it a lot. I understand it. And I've always, I coach just a small anecdotal thing here. I coach an 18U girls team, and our fields are pretty close to the Pioneers field. But my girls know that every time they stop play the national anthem, no matter what they're doing on that field, they're going to stop and they're going to turn around and they're going to honor our flag and our veterans. But Tank, let's talk a little bit about how you came to be in the position that you're in, especially with the baseball team and stuff, because obviously it's a sports podcast, but this is so much more right now. Tell us how this all got started for you.
I thought you were going to quote the first line on our website. It's more than just baseball.
Yeah, that was the whole quote from my story. This is
all
more
right.
than just about baseball, about honor.
Great minds think alike.
Well, how it started is my family has a sign shop business for about 25 years. My son, my 42-year-old, was wrapping vehicles, not singing rapping, but wrapping vinyl vehicles.
Sure. Right.
24 years ago, before people even knew what it was, before we had digital art, we were using NASA art, out of this world graphics. And,
wow.
and we were doing things like that to get noticed. Hanna-Barbera, the cartoons,
Oh.
We had a diabetic customer once and they got shoes once a year. So Elmer Fudd was sitting on a wheelchair and he shot Daffy Duck for stealing his diabetic shoes. And that was really the artwork that was available back then. Now you can take a picture and blow it up the size of a tractor trailer, but that was noticed by the previous commander, Lieutenant Commander Terry Alvord. And he started this in 1990 at the suggestion of 41 George Herbert Walker Bush at the Naval Museum. And where's baseball? Since World War II, we haven't had a military baseball. Why aren't we doing it? And Terry took it to heart, Lieutenant Commander Alford, and he started an all Navy team the first year and a half. And the first commercial is on our website from JAG, a TV series with Dean Stockwell. And we had a commercial on that. What are you doing tonight, Commander? And he's throwing a ball up in the air saying, I'm going to go watch the Navy All-Stars.
Really?
That was our first commercial ever. Now, the video was very grainy because it was 1990. But anyway, it's really cool. And then he had a vision to make it all branch. Fast forward to 2009, 2010, I was DJing outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And they heard the voice and they asked me if I would record some commercials and some honor things for them. I shared what my son does. Do you have an RV? Because I have one wrapped, and they brought it from Escondido, California, San Diego area. My son wrapped it. Oh, really? Well, that's where Terry lives, and he's out there. He's retired now. And he brought it, we wrapped it, and then he saw mine and he said, come on, we're going to your old stomping grounds. I'm a Yankee from Cape Cod. I used to park my car up there, but when I got to Tennessee, they didn't allow you to say that way. So anyway, I went up with them for 2 weeks and did it live instead of on a flash drive. I fell in love with it, and there was a young Army Ranger, 5 tour of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he was managing the team at the time. So I bought the team for him, partnered with him, and I asked if I could run the honor part of it and he could run the baseball. And we did fine for a little bit. He came down with leukemia. He's still with us on his second stem cell operation. God bless the doctor that came up with that, because that young man deserves it, a hero. His name was Carl the Hammer Sider. That young man played ball in Texas. He played ball all over the South American tour. he was a good young man. He really is. And so since then, it's just been finding coaches like I have right now. Bodacious Ball is his name. He's been with me since 2015. And I'm at his home in Howard, Colorado right now. Not struggling to breathe too hard, but it's
I was gonna
he's
say,
way
how's
up
the
there.
altitude coming from Tennessee? How's that altitude up there?
I'm really okay because I love Colorado. My daughter has her master's in Christian counseling and suicide prevention, and they come here for military and for church reasons, and they come here quite frequently. I would say her second best place is here. They met at World Foods, I think, about 17, 18 years ago.
Sure.
So Colorado's really been big for the family.
Colorado's beautiful. I guess the burning question I think I have, and I think that Brianna can probably say the same thing, is how did you get hooked up with Chuck and Myra Heeman in order to play this Pioneer? I know this was something that was, the wheels were in motion in 2020 when the COVID came down. I know this was something in motion then, and I would love to have been a part of it then, but I'm honored to be a part of it coming up on Saturday. But you know, how did this come about with the Pioneers and this team?
Let's not forget.
I really don't want to take a political stand here, but that really had a lot to do with it.
Well, let's not forget in 2021, a lot of the players were deployed at that point,
Correct.
so they couldn't do it last year either.
Yeah, well, actually, what turned my head politically towards this area was when we went in 2019 to do the tour in Washington, Oregon, and California. It was actually the West Coast tour. First time I'd been back there since I had been doing things, and I really wanted to honor Terry, end up down there in Escondido and let him see that, you know, his dream is still flourishing. We ran into Antifa, Black Lives Matters, a big sponsor, I can't mention them right now, but a good sponsor, paid for us to go behind the walls of the Portland Catholic University to protect our men. We were caught, we were robbed in Tacoma. We went behind the walls, and I want to say this, again, I'm not trying to make a political statement, but walls do work. Anyway,
Absolutely.
we practiced.
Amen. I agree with that.
Yeah, we practiced, we ate, we slept there, and we were police escorted out of there to different towns. And we still ran into all those issues. So I called up the Midwest and I decided to take a left at Portland. I called everybody, apologized. There was so much disrespect to the military and what was going on. We came back to flyover country and booked 8 games in about 40 minutes on the phone. Sure, we'd love to have you all back. And so I looked purposefully for people like Chuck in the Kansas, Omaha area. And the icing on the top of that one is my coach is in Colorado. And he's no longer in the military. So he has 9 to 5 with UPS, and he has 3 weeks vacation. I could always get him for a couple of weeks and do this leg of the tour.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. We have coaches on the East Coast at Fort Bragg, and usually one of them will travel to the Midwest, and then the other one will do the coast, if you will. And then Chuck, we offered a 2-year contract. I thought it was great. Let's do a toe dip post-COVID return. I think we booked 7 or 8 games initially, and that's all it was. Whereas next year, there'll probably be 8 or 9 games, and it will be the 3rd leg of the tour. The Carolinas, the Midwest, and then here at about the same time, July 4th. And you'll get a little bit more bang for the buck because we're going to be known a little bit better. I don't think we were here since 2007 under Terry, Commander Alfred's tutelage. So, and that's my story.
So I believe I already talked to you about this before, but so why choose the Independence League as your really only tour of 2022?
Well, I really, to be honest with you, before Ukraine hit, because we start this stuff, like when I leave you all on July 10th-ish, if you will, I'm August, within 2 or 3 weeks, I'm knocking on doors of the leagues I want to be at to get into their scheduling calendar before they schedule. And that way we can do even amounts, 2 teams, and it won't offset their games or their program. And so I wanted to, I just really, The Air Force Academy, let me throw that in there. I'm not struggling. There was a lot of things. I've been wanting to meet Coach Mike Kozlowski. He sends us players, and so do the other academies. And I've been wanting to meet him for years. The last group of men he sent us were phenomenal. And I just really wanted to say attaboy. And he's a winning coach, so he's a hard coach to get hold of. I meet with him for the first time in 6 years of knowing him, Sunday morning, I guess after church around 10:30. So I get to meet him. My coach can't meet him. Chuck can't meet him. And that was the whole purpose for the three of us to meet him. But Chuck, is up there. We have the Casper game and he's doing all that. But that's really why I wanted to be here. It was easier having the coach here, having the Air Force Academy here. Think about next year, the third leg of the tour. You're going to have you're going to have a hard time trying to beat the All-Stars next year if we pull players right out of the Air Force Academy right here in your backyard. But it's not competitive. I don't mean to go there.
So on the phone, you had mentioned with me that you're going to grab local military personnel to play with you as well.
Excellent question. Because getting back to the Ukraine when that hit, and I told you walls work, well, borders work too. And we lost a lot of our army to the NATO border protection when the Ukraine was invaded. And then the Navy, that we had some pulled when the naval part with the Black Sea and some other things going on over there. And I had to, I lost a lot of players. I usually don't lose that many players. There's wives involved, commands involved, sickness and, educational things, but not really war for many years now. And that's what's important. These guys come straight from the battlefield to the ball field. And I can tell you a lot of stories from the ball field to the battlefield. I'll be glad to tell you one after we answer this question. But yeah, I think it was very important to call your local recruiters, to call your local National Guard, as I've been doing for over a decade, to invite them to do mass swear-ins, especially after COVID. Those young men and women swearing in can't even have their parents, their spouse. It's Old Glory and some man reading off the list and the kid with his hand on the Bible. It's a little bit boring and it's not worthy of what their sacrifice and their commitment is all about. So they don't usually deploy or depart to their boot camps for anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. Sure. Let's call all the local recruiters in that town and have them come in and do a mass swearing and let those 2,000 people send them off the way they should be. Those heroes of the diamond want to share their first impression with those young men. And it's those recruiters that step in at times like this, that play baseball. They put country first, duty first, and baseball on the back burner. Brings us full circle, Brianna. It's more than just baseball, but that doesn't ever take the passion of that baseball away. Those young men up to middle-aged men think that they missed it, but groups like this and recruiters that spread the word to those young men and women joining, they know they have a chance to still be relevant in the baseball world. So yeah, I've got 7 or 8 players that are military stepping in their respective hometowns. And I really, really enjoyed that. That really ties us together, that town.
I have more, but I'm letting you go.
Okay, well, I guess my question is now, my two of my favorite things in this whole world are the military and baseball. So being there on Saturday is going to be a treat for me. I want to know what you're going to be able to offer the Pioneer fans that are coming out there to watch. What do we have to look forward to on Saturday itself?
Aside from
first the accolade. Go ahead, Brianna.
Aside from the legacy meet and greet.
Yeah, I think we have to be there about 2:00, I believe. I think the bus arrives about 1. We're running to the hotel to change into the uniform, do a meet and greet, photo op, and then we're going to try to hit the field for a couple of hours. We hope to get together because this is very short season. Some of these men are just meeting each other for the first time, literally 24 hours before. So we have batting cages set up and practices set up, but yeah. So let's get back to that question. Hit me again with that and edit this out. Well, hit me again with that question.
On Saturday alone, from the time that you get up to hit the ballpark, what do the Pioneer fans have to look forward to from, not just the game, Tank, but the fanfare, you know, are we looking at merchandise sales? Are we looking at anything like that? I mean, we'll
Yep.
talk about the website in a little while here, but you know, we want to know what the fans, because I know there are a lot of people that are going to be excited about this. I mean,
well, let's lead with honor. First of all, your community has decided to honor your veterans. Men like you, women like you, Brianna, decided to do that. Your baseball teams are deciding to enhance that view of respect and honor to honor your own. So that could be funny, and it could be the oldest living vet. AMVETS could have one, American Legion, VFW, and we have 3 of the oldest vets. Instead of arguing about it, let's enhance this and praise all 3 of them for duty first. And it could be a Gold Star family ceremony, but it's that honor that you are bestowing upon your own people. And you've asked us to come along and help you. So first, let's give the credit and the accolades where it's due. You, your community, your community leaders, and your baseball world. So that's the first thing your town's going to get out of that when they're there, is that, oh, I didn't even realize it's not about us coming there and winning or losing. It's about you. It's about us enhancing your feeling of them. So that's the first thing they'll get out of it. Now, you want to talk about merchandise? Yeah, if it wasn't for Chuck finding a sponsor this year, that selling bats, raffling our red, white, and blue bat from Cooperstown, New York, Cooperstown Bat Company. Without the sales of, without the sales of hats and jerseys and T-shirts, we wouldn't have the fuel to barnstorm across the country. So yes, there's a lot of that. So there's things that we can leave in your community. That's us. The videos, you doing what you're doing, and then sending us a copy, and we put you on our website. I'm sure you've seen some of that, and let us promote you for caring about us while we're there supporting you. Wow, full circle, huh? Isn't that just great? That's what we're missing right now, is that community atmosphere, that respect. I mean, even in businesses, customer service. I mean, just that nice attitude and thankfulness for what we're doing in this country, in this world. There's so many kind people like you, and so many wonderful heroes. We call these kids the heroes of the diamond, and they are. They are.
Well, Nebraskans are raised a little differently than a lot of people, and I think that you're going to find that out on Saturday when you're at the ballpark, because community is all about, you know, this community is all about, you know, their teams. They're one of the, you know, this team, if you talk to Chuck and Myra, you know, it's not the biggest community where they've had teams at, but it is a loving community, and they show up, and they show up in droves, and they come and they support this stuff. I mean, this community really gets into this Pioneer program and really supports it. And I think throwing the military back there is just jelly in the roll.
We interact with your community too at the game. We can do a run around the bases for children's. We have a children's book out. We're actually sitting down doing a part 2 of our children's book from 2010, I believe, is when that first came out. Animated book for kids, explaining it so it's not like war and all that military. It's about family, baseball, God, and country. And it was very animated and very cool. And we prize the kids. We do a run around the bases. They start at home and they run different directions. Whoever gets there first wins. But, you know, they both win when it comes to that book. And we'll do some interaction with your community, some photo ops, visiting some of your local sponsors, folks like you that just open their arms so wide to what the message is that we're trying to convey with you. And they'll get a lot of that out of it also. We do a mass swear-in.
That just gives me chills just thinking about it. I mean,
I'm telling you what, those young men and women, I mean, can you imagine being 18 years old right now with this divisiveness in our country and having the gumption to stand up for Old Glory, for country, for military, to be side by side with men and women that care about certain things first. And of course, nobody wants to go out to war and be shot or die or anything, but there's a lot of people that put country first. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. We wouldn't be barnstorming country like they did back in World War II. It's been a lot of years since people have done what we're still doing. Anyway.
What do you hope the community can get out of this game?
I think they already know why we're coming. It's honor. You'll see that on one of my, I was asked that by a reporter during a storm in Quincy, Illinois. And all I could say is, they know. They know. They come here because they know what their community did to help them have these games, to help them have a community. So they know. It is so vague sounding, I guess, at times, but with a smile on my face, they know. Well, you can get your hair raised. You can just feel good about it. You can, I mean, if it's your family, if it's your neighbor, if it's your friend, tell me you don't feel it. And just because you're in a crowd of 1,000, 5,000 people doesn't mean you don't feel their feel. Even if you don't have a person or skin in the game, let me use a phrasing right there, they still get it. And if they don't, I'm sure under that thick skin they do.
Well, you know, and I guess I can't say this enough about how supportive I am of this and how excited I am about it. I mean, I think when Brianna brought it up to me, I think that she felt like she was giving a kid a present at Christmas.
Yeah, I pretty much, as soon as I saw the game, I'm like, okay, Dave's gonna want
I think
this.
Dave
I'm
wants
going to
that
ask him anyway, but he's going to want it no matter
Yeah,
what.
this is Dave's gig here. This is the mailman's thing. This is what I do. You know, I like I said, I mean, she's seen all my tattoos. I've got a very patriotic artwork on my body, so she knows that I'm a patriot when it comes to that. She figured that this would be right down my wheelhouse.
Don't get me wrong, I'll still be there.
Oh yeah, she'll still be there.
I'm-
So I mean, like I said, you got two of my favorite things in the whole world is the military and baseball. And you know, for a guy who played American Legion baseball his whole life, grew up with an American Legion baseball program, and then in the last couple of years watched the Legion program get shut down. The entire American,
I know.
our local American Legion in Mitchell, Nebraska was shut down last year, and the building.
It's really bad in Tennessee too.
Yeah,
He used to be a pitcher with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's been coaching Legion baseball in Tennessee for years. And it's the travel ball. It's the perception, or shall I say misperception, of coming to find their children attractive in the baseball world. And
Yeah.
people think they have to pay for that in this day and age, because usually more money means better results. But the Legion had a program, still has a program. I've traveled this country for the Legion, public relations officer with the Legion. I have more respect for them, AMVETS, VFW. I mean, we've done national conventions with them, the All-Star. I love to see our younger generation walk into those posts with their families and realize that they're the next generation of that
bringing
honor.
tears to my eyes right now, because that's something that means so much to me, was losing our Legion. I'm sorry. But, you know, I was a charter member of that Legion. I was a Sons of the American Legion. I was, you know, part of that, played baseball for it. And then, and I was the honor guard for 20 some years. I was their honor guard. And, you know, on Memorial Day, and here I had to watch it, you know, go away. And with all due respect to my language right now, it pisses me off that our country's doing what it's doing.
As long
This
as
kind
it's
of
not
stuff.
other language, we're good, because this is a family video.
But it's just, you know, what's going on with the power struggle in Washington and everything else that is diminishing our military, diminishing our soldiers, our veterans, everything else. And it's just a big tug of war out there right now. And you got guys like you and I on one side of the rope, and then you got the others on the other side of the rope that just don't seem to care. And, you know, guys like Nolan Ryan, guys, you know, these guys that came up through American Legion baseball, they didn't have high school programs and stuff like that. And it's not only the baseball programs that it's breaking my heart. It's, you know, these old guys, we're losing these guys day after day after day, these World War II veterans. That's why we're losing our Legions, is because these guys we're losing them every day. And
there's nobody pushing it the way that 41 asked Commander Alford back in 1989, 1990, I would believe, at the Naval Museum. What's up? You know, where's that? Why did that disappear? Well, you know something, why don't we start something, Dave? I'm gonna ignite something here.
Okay.
I have been I've started 2 junior military all-star teams, one in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and we had one with the Legion starting in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, and we were having to do. And the political nature of whatever, without pointing fingers, not understanding that we could instill that duty, that honor, that commitment, that patriotism to children that already play baseball, know what it's like to have a team, to be a team, to work with your brother, your sister, your alike friend as that team. That's the first step of success in your business world, your military world, your club world, your sports world. It's all about that. Why not get somebody like the Legion that's losing 1,000 teams, maybe? I don't even know what to quote right
They're
now.
dropping like flies, Tank. They're
Why don't we do something? They proved to us years ago that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Is it their fault that it's slipping away? Little bit. Why don't they take that, have a junior military all-star per state? Let's get Nashville back up. Let's do one right here in Nebraska. And really, let's talk to Chuck, because his hand reaches over how many states, Dave?
Sure,
and let's
absolutely.
do a junior military all-star program with the Legion. Now, what does that mean? Oh my gosh, that's convoluted. That's confusing. No, they're going to wear a different uniform on exhibition games. They're still playing in their league, but the military junior league that wins for this state and plays just like the American Legion over in North Carolina at their playoffs, they could have a junior military all-star playoff. Now, what does that mean? Do they do it separately? No, they just are that good that they show up at the normal playoffs, but they're the junior military all-stars out of Nebraska. And what does that do? Those military parents, those military clubs, those young military men and women coming home from the tip of the spear, from the battle, coming home, and they can now participate in something like that in their own state. It's not just a bunch of World War II, Korean War, Vietnam vets smoking, a little bit disgruntled with life, sitting at the bar. No,
I miss those guys.
Some of the organizations, they can put the bar in the back room and let it be conducive to the family unit walking in and partaking in what's going on in their community. And think about that now. The schools, the churches, the American Legion, the baseball leagues, the travel leagues, the whatever, they're all going to get a little bit of something when it comes to duty, honor, country. At that age, we're not promoting military and war. We're promoting patriotism and God. I mean,
absolutely. It's just, I mean, what better two things, right, Brian? I mean, come on.
So let's ignite something. Who do you know with all of that resume that you just gave me, that resume you just gave me, that actual emotion you just gave me? Let's ignite something with that. I run my mouth for a living, son. And I think with men like you that get it.
We'll definitely talk about that after the podcast, but we'll stick.
I think the Star Herald should be the one. I think the Star Herald and you two both should be the one to ignite all this.
Yeah. You know, it's definitely something I would be on board with. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't take much. What's the difference? You ran baseball. Does it take any more money to buy a junior military all-star uniform for those kids? Does it take any more to maybe throw in an occasional, not every pregame, but an occasional honor ceremony on specific days, Flag Day, Memorial Day, D-Day? I mean, do they even know what D-Day is anymore? Why not? There's your respect. I'm on fire, son.
Yeah, well, and you're exciting me all. I'm going to have to back up because you're getting me all kinds of emotional and excited. So
this is why I'm kind of trying to get you wrapped up.
Well, we are going to get it wrapped up. You and I, though, we'll definitely talk a little bit on Saturday.
Yes.
Last thing I wanted to ask, obviously, if people want to go learn more about you guys,
yes,
they need to go to usmilitaryallstars.com, but where should they be going on your website?
Okay, well, when you get there, we just redid the entire homepage. And you try to cram so much in when we're actually on the road because you don't know what the hook is for an individual when they go there. Is it the fact that it's the honor? Is it the fact that they can buy some cool looking patriotic things? Is it their local child that's going to be the hero of their local team that does something significant? Is it the first time you ever brought Junior to a game and he never understood what D-Day 6 was when he looks on the back of a uniform? Because these military men don't put their name and a number, they put a reference to a military, the Battle of Chosin. My grandpa, one of the kids would say, was in Vietnam. Sorry there, Grandpa. And I want to represent him. Some people wonder why we have football-sized numbers on our uniform, but 67 is when that grandpa was in Nam, you know, or 44. You got a kid from Guam on the team this year, flew in from Guam, third generation baseball player from the island. 45 Guam is his uniform. He wants people to understand, not just because he's from there, but what it represented with the military. And it was in 1945 when they were freed.
Exactly. And I don't know, like I said, Tank, you and I could talk for days. I can't even say hours. You and I could talk for days about this. You have definitely lit a fire under me. So I'm definitely going to talk to you a little bit about this. But as far as this podcast goes, we've got to wrap this puppy up. You've got some work to do. We've got some work to do. And hey, Saturday, man, I'm telling you, Saturday, the July 2nd, be at the fields, the Pioneer Stadium. Come see these guys. I mean, I'm on fire right now, Tank. I'm on fire. I don't know about you, buddy, but
you started off this with a question about why Chuck Heeman. And what was it that ignited me? This man has got passion, and he should be the third banana on this pole when it comes to trying to do something like this, because that's what it's going to take. People that have passion and understand that emotion that you showed. That's what people need to understand. Where's that come from? Why don't I feel like that? Well, you will if you come to one of our games.
Yeah, it comes from deep down. I tell you what, it's down there, and it's down dug in deep.
USMilitaryAllstars.com and USMilitaryAllstars.us. And there was a significance back in the day why we had two, so we could get on the military bases in the ships that didn't allow emails or things like that. So we've been working with commands all over the planet for the last 32 years. God bless you both for this, and I can't wait to meet you in person and see how high that hair really did stand up on your arm.
I'll tell you what, it might not have gone down by Saturday. You can also find you guys on Facebook, Instagram, any of that, Snapchat? Anything?
Yes, yeah, you can. Yes, you can. Now, my web guy knows all about that. I'm going to claim age ignorance right now.
Okay, they can search it. They can find it. They can search it from your website. They can search it on any social media from your website. Please go to that. Please like it, share it, everything you can. Oregon Trail Park Stadium on Saturday. What time's the game start?
It's gonna be at 6:35.
6:35 game. It's gonna be a normal start for the Pioneers on Saturday night. Come out, see Tank Stone. Come out, see myself and Brianna. Brianna and the Mailman will be there on Saturday night. We'll be roaming around, talking to people, talking to players, talking to coaches, everybody. Maybe hanging around with Tank a little bit.
Oh no, you'll definitely see me in dugouts taking pictures.
Well, then I could just walk around and look pretty, right?
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Brianna, for setting this all up. And I hear you're a whiz at editing. Thank you. Oh, my grammar.
She's gonna have to get my tears out of there because.
Oh no, that's real, son. That's real. You keep that up.
So for more sports coverage, you can go to starherald.com or pick up a print edition, and we will definitely have this story in after the game is over. And again, you can go to USMilitaryAllstars.com and you can learn more about the U.S. military and the baseball team. So we will see you all next time. And thank you for joining us for this special edition of Winter in the Mailman.